Infinite ammo.
Yeah, Kaneki's watching Street Fighter right now.
And we are live, so while Kaneki jacks off to Street Fighter, how's it going, people? We are here to have a discussion about classic and modern anime, what we've been watching, what we would recommend, and talking about like a variety of different topics from there. This is going to be off the cuff, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Renegade Operative. Next up, we have Captain Chaos.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, I'm Halo, also known as the girl.
All right, next up we have Double Hunter James.
What's up, people?
Next up we have Kao Shishio.
How's it going, guys?
And I think we have like two other guests that's going to be running late, but we're gonna start off here with like what we've been watching currently. I'm gonna make mine really quickly. I've been watching Demon Slayer, really fucking good. I've been enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
6 episodes in, I've been really loving the whole dynamic between, you know, Tanjiro and his protecting his sister. I thought that was really cool. Also, I've been watching a little bit of Cowboy Bebop, reminiscing about that, and it's just as good as I imagined it would be in the 90s, so really enjoying that too. So, anyone else want to go on this?
I'll go ahead. So currently I've been, well, obviously, if anybody here follows, well, or at least used to follow my YouTube channel, which is now, of course, on BitChute, me and Blue Spade do seasonal anime reviews. So currently we are doing Psycho Pass 3 and Fate Grand Order Babylonia. Now, Psycho Pass 3 is pretty good, but I really don't know much about Grand Order because it's based on a mobile game. Which is really like has a lot of different storylines, and it's a little bit hard to get into because of that. But it's pretty good so far. And the other thing I've been watching, which I haven't been doing weekly episode reviews of, is Vinland Saga. I've been really excited for Vinland Saga because it's based on a manga I started reading not too long ago, and the basic premise is it has to do with Vikings, and the main character's father is killed, and he's basically spends years seeking revenge against the guy who killed his father. But it also follows multiple different characters, and not just the main character, and it has a surprising amount of character development with like pretty much the entire cast. So. It's a really good. The manga is good, and the anime is about as good as the manga. Like I've been really impressed with the animation and the way they've been adapting the story so far. It's been really good. So I would say it's probably like one of the best anime that's come out this season.
New episode today, actually.
Yeah, the new episode was really good. I've read past all the stuff that the anime is going to do, so I was really impressed with how they did this scene. It was great. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it's been really good. So it is definitely a show that people should go into without knowing much, I think.
Is that the one that's on Amazon?
Yep, that's the only thing I don't like, and I guess that's a topic we could get into too. Is a lot of these like different streaming services like Amazon Prime basically having exclusive rights to stream like some of these shows. So it's like sometimes it's kind of a clusterfuck. It's like, well, if I want to watch this show, the only legal way to do it is to watch it on this service, and I need to pay like a subscription fee for this service. It's not on Crunchyroll, so I need to go sign up for Amazon Prime. But I think that same could also be said for like any show, though.
Yeah, I use
streaming
Amazon.
Services is just a mess.
I use Amazon a lot, so I already have Amazon Prime, so it's easy for me. But like going out of my way to get like. I guess I already have Crunchyroll because I watch it too. But going on my way, like if I wasn't really watching anime, just wanted to try it out to get a Crunchyroll subscription. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Well,
actually, what I ended up doing instead of just getting Crunchyroll, they have a whole Crunchyroll like started or is involved with like a bigger channel thing called VRV. And they have and if you buy a subscription to VRV, which is like $9.99, I think, you also have access to watching like old Boomerang shows, so like old Cartoon Network shows like Courage the Cowardly Dog and like old Tom and Jerry and stuff. And then they also have like everything from Rooster Teeth and cartoon hangover. So like if you get that, you get a lot more variety. So if you don't want to just get, you know, Crunchyroll for anime, you could think about getting VRV, which has a lot more content.
I've heard of that site before. I think Verve was advertised by a Dragon Ball YouTuber by the name of Geekdom 101. He's the one that usually recommends it. I haven't checked it out, but maybe I'll check it out after this podcast.
It's cool. I mean, they also have the one season of My Brother and Me. If any of you guys ever listen to that podcast,
I have not, sadly.
Yeah, it's okay. They're just like a cool podcasting family. They're funny. You should watch it or listen.
Jameson, what have you been watching recently?
Well, Chaos has already said Vinland Saga, so I'm gonna say Black Clover. I've been up to speed on.
I can't get it's another one of those long running shonen shows. It's like already like past 100 or so episodes. It's like impossible for me to catch up at this point.
I have a good question after this, and this kind of pertaining to like length and episodes with animes that people want to get into, but you just can't because it's way too long. Like I think One Piece
is the king
is
of that.
definitely one of those.
It's one of those animes that it's good, but it's like if you haven't like kept up, good luck.
It hasn't even adapted half the manga yet, apparently, or it's only adapted like half of it, like 60% I think it was.
He's still going, dude.
Boy.
That was trending. I was like, that's good timing.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we should talk about that too. People really want the Bleach anime to come
I want
back.
it too. I have Stockholm syndrome for Bleach.
I'm conflicted on that though, like I've said before, because of how the manga ends. The manga is incredibly rushed near the end.
I think in the anime's case, they would have a chance to fix the issues that the rush job has.
I would say I'm not sure, and the only reason because of that is because I don't trust Studio. I don't know how to pronounce it. Pierrot. I don't trust them.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's Perriot or Perot. Yeah, I don't trust them mainly because of how they've fucked Tokyo Ghoul so badly.
No,
don't remind me. RE was
yeah, Tokyo Ghoul is one of those instances of like an anime getting such a terrible adaptation. Like the first season actually was okay, but then after that, I don't know what the fuck happened. Well, I do know what happened, unfortunately.
They left out so much.
The first season was absolutely impeccable. Like, I thought it was really, really good. I was stuck on it for a really long time. Like the last 2 episodes, like I'll go back and I'll watch those last 2 episodes of the first season like every once in a while because I can't get it out of my head. But yeah, the second season just kind of ruins it all.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, we know the only reason they brought back Re is because of the popularity of the manga. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes with anime and manga because, well, the way the Japanese economy works is because, you know, if the manga is popular enough, then, well, we're going to do another anime adaptation, and that's what they did. And the problem with Re is that because of how they fucked up season 2 is there's a lot of different things that happen in the manga that would have led into Re that people would be really confused if they were anime only watchers and just watched Re without having note about what happens in the manga.
They left out a lot of information like between episodes too. Like it was like really important stuff that you needed to know, and like they just like completely skipped past all of it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I after watching the second season, like I've heard that the third season is, even though it is missing that information, they're doing well with what they had to work with. But
sorry.
I haven't even. I don't know, that second season just kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah,
like I haven't been able to watch the third one.
Okay, the problem with season 3 is that the studio actually, Perot actually outsourced the animation to another animation studio. So the animation suffered immensely. And the first half of Re is, I just still don't like it, but it's not nearly as bad as how they handled the second half. The second half is incredibly rushed because they try to rush toward to get to the end of the story. So basically, within I think the span of 12 to 13 episodes, they try to adapt. I think it was over 60 or 100 or so chapters, and they try to condense all of that. So imagine them rushing to get to the end. It's pretty bad. Just Tokyo Ghoul in general, unfortunately, has just been incredibly mishandled as an anime. I really wish they would reboot it, but I don't but this is
It's
the whole
too
reason
new.
yeah. I just don't trust Perot. Because at this point, I know it's sometimes it's based on the director of the series, but I don't know. I don't trust Perot to do different things justice at this point. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think they would be
Right.
smart enough to try to do something different with the Bleach ending.
Yeah,
I think they would pretty much.
I
do
don't
it
get
the way
why
it
it's
was-
trending now. Like, what's going on? It's making people want it now all of a
for
sudden.
Bleach. I don't.
Yeah.
It just all of a sudden popped up on Twitter. They've been doing a lot of like who would win in a fight kind of things, threads going on.
wasn't there like a fan sort of dub that Johnny Young Bosch was a
Yeah.
part of as Ichigo?
Yeah.
It's like a fan sort of thing
Yes.
they got going on.
Yeah, it was a fan animation. Johnny Young Bosch has been like really vocal about wanting.
Yeah, he
anime.
says he's absolutely down for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I stopped. So, growing up, I watched a lot of anime growing up because I was lucky enough to have a family of a bunch of weebs. My mom and my uncles, they would all watch a lot of shonen anime. So like I grew up watching Bleach and Naruto. We never really watched One Piece because we didn't like the animation style. But it's weird to hear about Bleach now. Like I liked it fine enough, but growing up I was more of a shoujo anime person. Like I liked a lot of slice of life anime a little more. But like now that I've grown up, like there's some shonen anime I like more, but you know.
The only one I've currently been watching, or at least trying to keep up with, is My Hero Academia, and mainly because it's a lot easier to keep up with that one because they do
I
it.
keep forgetting.
The
that it's
latest
season 4.
episode. Yeah, the latest episode was really good. It was
Yeah.
really good.
I'm too old school for this. It's like if you talk shonen, then usually I just go to like either Dragon
Yu Yu
Ball or
Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is
Oh.
really fucking
Yu Yu
good.
Hakusho. They wanted to
Yu
bring
Yu
that back.
Hakusho.
They want to do like these OVAs, and I'm like, when are those coming out?
The one
yeah.
OVA came out like a year ago.
Yeah, they did I think they did a couple. They did one that was just like I think Yusuke going back to the spirit world and fighting some people, and then the other one was the backstory of how Kurama and
Yeah.
EA met. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I haven't even watched them because like I'm like a part of me is like worried that it's not going to capture the magic from when I was a kid, and I'm just going to be sorely disappointed. But Kurama and Hiei were my favorite characters. So now I gotta
I
watch
just
it.
made me want them to redo or just reboot the anime and like modern animation. Like I really would like to see that.
I mean, that would be cool, but I don't think like now. I don't think there's like a lot. They would have to reboot a lot because I don't think there's a lot of money in tournament anime so much anymore.
I
Like,
guess
think
there's been so many other shows that have done it at this point too. Yeah.
I think the tone of the anime is pretty different from a lot of anime that's out now. Kind of similar like Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that, with like the older anime.
Yu is dark, like at some points.
Yeah.
Very dark.
Yeah,
Very mature
Yeah.
very mature subject matter too, especially when I used to watch it when it was on television.
Mhm.
And they didn't censor any for like the most part. They did not censor stuff. So I was like, this is some dark shit for my age.
That's
but
what I
don't care.
liked
love
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I ended up liking it. I was just surprised thinking back about it now. I'm like, there's a lot of dark shit we used to watch as a kid.
look, I
think there's, like,
gotta
really
say it.
few.
Dark Tournament best arc. That was just even
That's
though it
like
was
a
like
universal
longest arc.
agreement.
yeah.
Act like you had to say that. That's what everyone.
Like
Who
there
hasn't
are
said
some
that?
there are some people out there that actually prefer Chapter Black. I don't know why, but they just
I mean,
do.
I like generally all of them, but yeah, I will say probably Dark Tournament's everyone's most fond memory.
Yeah.
It's also when the
think-
series actually kicks off for the most part.
yeah.
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 Like that's when I think that's also like that was at its height of popularity in at least America because like during I think it was like during the Dark Tournament art specifically that it was airing in on like Toonami, so at like 5:30 p.m. so when everybody got home, so it was like the most accessible.
Toonami has a way of like
Always after
stuff
school.
up, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that arc just really had the most memorable characters, or like because you can think about it, like the last arc did have people like Toguro and shit in it, but it just wasn't epic in scale as the Dark Tournament arc.
It's also a time most of the main characters had serious character development.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna forget that scene where fucking Genkai died and Yusuke saw it and he was like super pissed and then he got body by Taguro and then he had the spirit gun that shot in the air. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really like. It's a very simple. It's a very well. It's like a simplistic fight compared to like the rest of what happened in the Dark Tournament. But when UCA goes up against that guy with an Australian voice, where they just got their heels. Up
I know what you're talking about,
I
but
think it's
Yeah.
Shu. I think that's his name.
The guy that drinks a lot.
Yeah,
Shu.
yeah.
It's Shu. Something
Shu,
like that.
I think
the
it's
guy
Shu.
who drinks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy.
What-
Like it's a cool fight, even though it's so
Yeah,
simple.
They have like the part where they
They have
have
a name
those
for it.
knives or something. They say,
Razor's Edge Deathmatch, something like
Yeah,
that.
I
like
think
they
it's
had a
Knife
name
Edge
for it in the show.
Deathmatch.
yeah, they
It
just,
had- it
they
had
just
like a
start
name.
beating the shit out of each other. It was fucking great.
If you step back, you'll keep cutting your foot or something like that. That was like
Yeah.
how the
Yeah.
stipulation worked.
I
They
think
had
it was if they go out of the knife circle or whatever, you get eliminated, so you can't move.
Yeah, you had to stay on it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every time they were getting punched, they were pushing their 1 foot into the blade over and over.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an endurance contest.
Yu was fucking hardcore, man. That's why I loved it
Yeah.
so much.
Dude,
Yeah.
so good.
Kurama versus
Yeah.
Karasu was my favorite fight too. One of my favorite fights.
I'm trying to think, classic. You know what? I'd say easy one. Inuyasha. I watched the shit out of
Oh,
Inuyasha.
I was gonna mention that too. Like that was
Who
one of the
hasn't,
first.
fam? Come on.
That was I wasn't that into anime until like around middle school and like the
Mhm.
Adult Swim came on and they had I remember the lineup. What it was Bleach, it was Code Geass, it was Death Note, and then I think
Fullmetal
Inuyasha.
Alchemist.
They had all this good shit back
Yeah,
in the
it
day,
was those
television.
were like the anime I first like really got into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Inuyasha, like I was definitely one of them.
I remember with Yasha, when I was probably in like the 5th and 6th grade, maybe a little bit into the 4th grade, what I would do for a really long time is I found out that I found out that I could set timers on my TV for my TV to turn on onto a certain channel. So what I would do is I just program my TV to turn on when when Inuyasha was playing on Adult Swim at like fucking 2:30
Yeah,
in
it's
the
always
morning.
it's always
Yeah, it
in
was
the
so
morning.
damn
I
late.
never knew
Yeah.
why.
I stayed up so late watching those shows.
I did not care. I was like, "Fuck it, we're watching it."
I remember
Exactly.
it was so agonizing when I was watching Bleach because I was like, when are they gonna get out of Waco Mundo? They're still in
Yeah.
it went on for so long. I'm like, please stop. Like, can something happen? Like, and they would be fighting the same dude for like 5 episodes. I'm
Things
like,
kind of picked up again after that.
it did.
arc
Like,
ended.
I know a lot of people like the Ironclar arc a lot. I'm like, it has its moments, but I don't like shit like that.
There's
where
a
it's
there's a lot of fluff in between.
it like, and I really hated two. I forget what their name is. There's a one dude with the huge head, and then like the other dude that tags along with Nell. And I'm like, I
know
hated them. So I
one's
hate them.
Pesce, but I can't remember who
Pesce.
the other
They
one is.
transformed, yeah. The dude with like the giant mask head. looking
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I think one of my other favorite fights from Bleach is probably him and Aizen when they fought for the final.
Yeah, yeah, like that was a really it was a little bit one sided, but I liked that.
Oh
fight.
yeah, you knew it was gonna happen. Saint Side
Yeah.
was also one
To be
too.
fair, Aizen's been like
I think
one-sided the
that-
whole show, so at some
Oh,
point it had
yeah.
to flip the other way.
I like the Ukiura fight a lot better. I think in terms of fights, in that
It was,
arc.
cool. It was cool to see Ichigo lose it a little bit and then
Yeah.
like transform.
Anything with
Yeah, he
Kenpachi or
literally
Byakuya
died.
as a W.
My thing that kind of drew me to Bleach that I liked was that like how unique everyone's Bankai was, and like being able to like, I don't know, I guess like figuring out what one person's Bankai was and how it relates to their character. That was always real cool for me. But then once I saw most of those Bankai, I was like, okay, I'm done. And I probably stopped after they left. Not Hueco Mundo. It was just like where all the Shinigami hung out.
Oh, the Soul
when he-
Society.
Yeah, Soul Society when they were saving Rukia.
Yeah, that was the height of Bleach. After
Yeah.
that, it kind of, I would say, yeah, it
I
goes.
would say fluctuates.
It fluctuates. Well, because after that was the Bounce arc, I think, which is filler.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, it fluctuates, and the Ironclar arc dragged on the longest, and it was I don't know, it wasn't the weakest arc, but it was. It was up and down.
All I'll say is, no matter how OP Aizen was, he will never get as bodied as Madara for
Oh,
getting
really?
body
Yeah.
for a weak ass
Naruto,
character. Yeah, Kaguya, she sucks.
I heard some aliens come in and kill him or something like that. And
What?
No,
I don't know. That's how somebody
or-
described it to me.
in
like-
Naruto.
I think it was Naruto.
Whatever.
Yeah. I
no,
don't know.
Kept up
for
with it. All I know is that her clan are a bunch of fucking like space ninjas,
yeah,
and I was like, all right, this is getting ridiculous, even for Naruto
it's
standards.
that arc
Yeah, I
sucks
heard that's
so.
where the story gets really stupid.
Yeah, that
okay,
that arc
I
sucks so bad that people just want to forget about it.
So I watched most of Naruto. My mom has a shirt that said "I survived the arc" because yeah, we were watching Naruto like as they were airing in Japan, and we lived through the 150 filler episodes that they
Oof.
had. Who's the space ninja? You gotta.
Talking about
I don't know.
Kaguya.
Kaguya's clan, because apparently she has a clan that just is still existing, and they're like in space and shit, and then they go to Earth. And I'm like, this is getting weird.
She gets
Oh, that's
she
so
gets
weird.
bodied in
I know
like
Naruto gets ridiculous, but it's like, come on.
she gets
Yeah,
beaten
no,
in like
that's a little-
seconds.
Remember, a show about ninjas. Like
Mhm.
One Piece
Naruto
is
is
a
just
show
one of
about
those
pirates,
shows.
Totally.
It's probably because Naruto wasn't one of the gateway anime that I watched when I was getting into
Mhm.
it, but I honestly never got that into Naruto. Like I know a lot of people like it, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Like for me, it was just like Bleach, Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist,
Mhm.
Inuyasha, Code Geass, some of these other shows.
I watched
yeah.
I watched a lot of Death Note.
I was
Death
gonna
Note-
say that too. Yeah, Death
Yeah.
Note.
L was
Death
so
Note
easy
kept me
to
really
cosplay.
hooked when I watched it.
Death Note was like fucking CSI, the anime edition.
Yeah, I
basically
think
was.
that's-
Death Note?
Yeah.
I think that's why it got so popular in America is because like we were kind of like around that time we were kind of not bombarded, but like the most accessible anime were anime like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and they're all very heavy action anime. And this was like the first like really super popularized, like not necessarily like cerebral anime, but it's not based in combat. Like
I mean, it was
it's
like
definitely a
it's-
battle of
It
wits.
was a darker tone too. Like Ghost
Yeah.
in the Shell was another one that was like an older like
It's a
anime that I like.
it's yeah, Detective Conan, that's also like detective
Yeah.
style and not much action, so that also exists.
Well, I mean, yeah, they other anime like that existed, but you know, like what were shonen action anime.
That is true.
You
I
know?
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just Death Note was really cool, and also L was a real easy cosplay. So
I mean, all he has is like a
It's just a
shirt.
wig.
Oh, you,
And some
the wig is
jeans,
the only
that's
weird
it.
thing.
It's
Right?
great.
You get a long sleeves and sweatpants from
He-
somewhere else.
He's like the lazy boy cosplay. If you want to just do it, just slap on some jeans, sit in a chair, hunch over. There you go.
Yep, exactly. It was great. I loved it.
Cowboy Bebop.
I will at
Okay.
least give the guy that was trying to be L in the movie like credit to trying to copy his mannerisms at least.
He was
but
pretty
Mhm.
accurate.
the way he was written was just trash. I was like, that's not
He
what I
got
would
really
do."
like he started freaking out, and I was like, "That's
he,
not."
he fucking chased after light with a gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the
you
best
talk
scene in the
about
movie.
that. We
My
don't talk
guy.
about that.
Like, I mean, okay, so and this is we're talking about the
Netflix.
American movie,
The really
right?
Netflix.
crappy
Yeah.
one that happened.
I-
Yeah.
So like I respect what they were trying to do. Like they were trying to make I guess the Death Note story more I guess not
Americanized.
accessible. Yeah, but
Voodoo?
more just more relatable to American audiences. But yeah,
I think it did the opposite.
yeah.
I
It
think the
wasn't
worst
great.
part, I think the writing was just terrible. Like the way the characters were written, it's like I don't know, like it just feels like the director writers they didn't do their research into like the anime. I think the only person that like this is why I said that I liked L, like the guy that played him. I think he did a good job because he said he actually looked like did his research.
Mhm.
Something that I don't think the writers or the directors actually cared to do because the characters are nothing like their anime counterparts.
Yeah.
So,
One thing is like a couple they did a live action TV show in Japan for Death Note
the
and
TV drama.
Yeah, I I only watched a couple of episodes. I hated it because I think like the first thing that they tried to do in that show was like humanize Light a lot, or like try to give him justification for using the Death Note, like real person justification, rather than him being just like a megalomaniac.
Oh.
And I'm
You're
like,
already fucked
no,
up.
no. Yeah, I was like, no,
Damn.
no. Like, Light is 100% not supposed to be a oh god, what's the term I'm thinking of? Like,
Sympathetic.
yeah, he's not supposed to be a sympathetic character.
I mean,
he's
that's kind of dumb too, because it's like all the characters in the original Death Note, like the anime and the manga, are already human.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people react to having those kind of powers differently. That's just how life went.
The theme of Death Note is the absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like Light, he
Right.
probably would have been like a normal dude, like maybe with an ego, if he never had obtained the Death Note. The problem is when he obtained the Death Note, his ego like just completely like got the better of him, and he obtained a
Right.
god complex.
His intelligence didn't help either, because he's already a genius, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that's that makes sense. Like with him having an ego, just because he was the smartest guy he knew, and like he didn't say that to anybody because he was smart enough to know not to say that to people. But he knew he was always the smartest guy in the room, so he probably would have been kind of a dick anyway. But
And they're making
But
a
he
movie
wouldn't
to that
have
shit
been.
show.
He wouldn't have been like a mass murderer.
yeah,
when he killed L, was like that was like him at the like height, the peak of his like intelligence. He was like, yeah, you're not gonna get me. There's no way.
And they're making a sequel to that shit show movie, so look forward to that. It's like, fam,
the only thing that gives me hope is they said they're doing a different approach with the sequel, which I don't know what they mean by that.
I don't know. That's weird. Same actors.
There's so many
It's-
problems with the Netflix movie. Like I think the biggest insult is Light. Like the way that guy like portrayed Light, I was like, oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
Elle-
like
Elle
him,
was
Nate
kinda Elle was
Wolf.
kind of
Elle is black.
yeah, that too. But I mean, the way that didn't. What I don't remember that dude's name, but I did not like his the way he played.
You know
Light.
what? Light's about to get the W. Let me
I'm like,
freak
Elle
out
is
and get a
dumb.
gun, huh?
Ryuk was
Plot
the only
twist.
good thing.
Plot twist. It was Misa all along. She was the
I don't
killer.
even remember what Misa looks like.
honest,
From the series.
she
Generic.
was she was a generic.
She was like a
attractive girl.
goth. She
Yeah.
tried to pull off the goth look. In the movie,
I
she's
guess
like a
I guess
generic
that would be the only
cheerleader.
weird way they could have done it, since the pop idol thing isn't really a thing here.
I just don't think they really cared to adapt it properly. Honestly,
I just didn't see the market for this. Let's change all the characters to be Western characters. I'm like, okay.
Why did it
I
feel more
But
like?
I already have the dub, so
What-
why do I care?
Why
the
did
problem
it,
too is the director Adam Wingard. His only the only thing I know of him is he did the Blair Witch, the 2016 one, which wasn't good, and
Yeah.
he also did he did You're Next, I think, which was an okay horror movie.
No, Your Next was a great horror movie. It is one of
But
Okay, here's the thing.
yeah, like he's really hit or miss. I think
Hold on.
and he's
It depends on what he's doing.
yeah.
Hold on, what you gonna say, Ren?
Here's the thing. That movie felt more like Final Destination than Death Note,
Yeah.
because the deaths were like super over the top and fucking
Guy
ridiculous.
gets decapitated with a ladder.
So my thought with it is like I can like why they would want to Americanize it a little bit. Like I think in the current like climate, especially in America where they were trying to market this movie, like Death Note is kind of a risky movie to adapt just because of how prolific like school shootings are and stuff like that. And a character like Light, I think if they represent him in his purest form, like I don't think that would be a useful character in the media to have right now.
It depends. Like, I mean, I'm fine with them. Like, I knew obviously it wasn't going to be like a completely like 100%, like accurate interpretation of the source material. But I'm fine with like liberties being taken. But it depends. Like, how much how different do you want it to be until it's to the point where it doesn't
Right.
really resemble the original source material anymore.
I didn't think
I mean-
Elle was gonna be running around with a gun. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
just-
Running around again. I think in that point, like it might have been because there are some parts of the movie that I can like they sacrifice the story to say something to audiences, like having Elle run around with a gun. He's a black guy in law enforcement and he's the one with the gun this time. I don't know.
He
like,
needed
they're
to hold
trying
his
to,
gun
like,
sideways.
yeah.
He's such a
I
chess
don't know.
player, man. Get out the gun when you're about to lose.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the writers were really thinking that that on that deep of a level, like when they wrote the movie.
I think there was some, like, I think there was some thought, just not enough.
Well, yeah. But,
I think there
yeah.
was, like, I think, in my opinion, I think they put a lot of thought into making Elle black because I think that's like because it's like that specifically is a really touchy subject in America, and just like making a black character that's like prolific in law enforcement. I feel like even though they didn't think it all the way through, I think it's like it was something that they're like, we got to do this.
I think the guy who portrayed him was a decent actor, but
Yeah,
it was
it's just the source material.
it's
He
just
could
the
have been a
source
better-
material. It's weird.
Yeah. You can have great actors, but if your script
So
sucks
who's-
and the director sucks, then
Yeah.
what
So
do you do
so
about it?
who's hyped for that
Ghost in the Shell.
Netflix?
Ghost in the Shell. Scarlett Johansson.
Oh well, I think he was talking about the Netflix. The
No, I'm talking about that. Let's talk about it.
No,
the
No,
live
no.
action one.
let's just not.
No, the CG 3D one. That's coming out.
I honestly thought the live action one was okay. Like I know a lot of people hate it. And this is coming from someone who has read the manga for Ghost in the Shell and seen like all the anime adaptations. So I mean, I thought it was actually okay. It wasn't terrible, and it wasn't like amazing either.
I think
It was
the only
middle kind of thing.
I think the only reason why people don't like the live action and the upcoming Netflix one is because like it's not even close to the creator's image to the world of Ghost in the Shell compared
it's
to
not even-
Ghost in the Shell has many different interpretations of it. Like there's
Yeah.
standalone complex. Like the original
that one.
manga is standalone complex is its own thing for the
That's
most
the
part.
most
Like it takes
popular
some things
one.
from the original manga, but it's for the most part its own story.
It's
It's
just
probably- Go ahead.
really I'm not a big fan of like a problem. I actually really watch Ghost in the Shell because I've never been a big sci-fi person. But like a lot of problems that some of my friends that did watch it had was just like it felt like they were just like picking and choosing what parts of Japanese culture in Ghost in the Shell they wanted to I guess like celebrate, and then they were like, yeah, we know this takes place in Japan, but let's get some ScarJo in there, even though the main character is Asian in Japan.
Well, this is the thing. The main character Motoko, 'cause she could, she's a cyborg, so she can take on the appearance of anybody. That's a point that they make a few times in the standalone complex series, is that if Motoko wanted to be in the man's body, she could easily do that. She just doesn't choose to. She usually likes to be in one particular body. So I mean, if she was specifically supposed to be Asian in the original, or like that's how she is supposed to be identified, then I would have a huge I would also kind of have a problem with it. I'd be like, well, that's not accurate. But because she's a cyborg, it's like, well, you can kind of play around with it. It's not one particular race or one particular characteristic. So that's why I don't really have as much of an issue with it in the movie.
Okay.
And also the movie too. Like I feel like the setting is kind of like it's not really like it's not important. I don't think that it takes place in Japan. Like it could take place anywhere, and I don't think it really affects the story that much. It's like just make it a typical like dystopian city or something. And
I think it's the tone wasn't really like as there as it was in the anime, so a lot of people were like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I thought the tone was there for the most part. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of subjective. Like if you don't think the tone is
That's
there.
true.
So one thing that you guys mentioned actually kind of wanted to I was actually really stoked to talk about in this is like even though like maybe to us like a setting in an anime might not seem important, like I think a lot of people forget that anime is, and I'm trying to explain this in the proper way that I've done research on. It's just
Like it's an inherently Japanese, like it.
it's not even that it's just inherently Japanese. It's just that it is for Japan and it's an art for Japan. It's not like just a media. So like a lot of like more cerebral anime in like the 90s and stuff were really, a lot of them were critiques on Japanese society. So
Yeah.
I think like I can't really say to Ghost in the Shell because I didn't really watch it, but you know, maybe to a Western audience, like the setting might not be that important, like as important, but it's also possible that you know there might have been a lot of really important critiques about Japanese society that connected with the setting that maybe us as Western
definitely.
audiences
Yeah.
didn't see.
That is true to some extent because there are some stories in Ghost in the Shell where it is a critique of the Japanese government.
Yeah.
But that another thing you have to keep in mind is the Ghost in the Shell was also originally inspired in part by Blade Runner, which
Okay.
is like so. That's why I don't think the setting is as important as I think people are really making it out to be. And you also have to keep in mind too, like, are there a majority of anime that obviously do take place in Japan and are important to the Japanese culture? Yes, but there's also other anime that have Western settings and specifically
Right.
wanted to cater to that kind of, you know, or to
Right.
try to emulate that sort of like society and all that. So I mean, I think there's an argument that can be made for the other side as well. Is
Of
that?
course.
But yeah, I do mostly agree that yeah, it's supposed to. It is for the most part, it's very inherent to the culture of Japan and all that. So you know, I can see where you're coming from.
I don't know how you. Oh, good.
No, I was gonna say like before people give those like weird critiques about like how the style of an anime is, I think they need to remember that everything has a genre. So whether it's like sci-fi, whether it's like spaghetti western, etc., everything has a genre. Whether it's like westernized or based in Japan. So to say there's something wrong with it, it's just like a stylistic choice. I don't see the issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of I find myself in the middle on that because, like I mentioned, there are plenty of anime that are trying to be more, like try to have a Western setting or trying to have more of that Western art style. So I mean, it's just I think we need to look at it as something that it can be whatever it wants to be. Like
Right.
yeah, like
I think you're
I don't
trying to
know.
say it could be what it wants to be, but it should also
Because,
be
I mean,
varied as well.
like we've seen stuff like I mean, like for example, like Avatar, or like what about some of these, like when I guess when like Koreans or something they want to make like an anime like show or the Chinese have done stuff like that before. I mean that this is something that goes over to manga as well. Like you think about like there is a specific thing called manhwa, which is like Chinese made manga. And there's also mangaka, which I believe is
Korean.
usually I think specific to Korean, like Korean made
Well,
manga.
I thought mangaka was referring to the creator of the
Yeah,
manga
that could
artist.
be
Like
too.
the
Yeah, I think.
mangaka is the author and an artist.
Yeah, I might have got the term for that wrong, but my point though is like yeah, there is like it kind of goes over like a wide like there are other people of other Asian ethnicities that also are involved in that, and there's also like I think another example like Castlevania like that or Avatar that they try to emulate the anime art style and the animation so I mean like it's something that everybody's trying to get on board with and trying to
Right.
do that, but
I think they all have like varying degrees of success because
yeah,
you can think about some of the Japanese anime out there, like how they butchered Tokyo Ghoul with season 2, and it's like wow, shit. Speaking of which, we have Drill like trolling in the chat saying, "Ask Chaos if Tokyo Ghoul is his favorite season for season 2."
oh, I don't know which I like more or which I dislike more, season 2 or Re.
I think he did say Re. What's the
Re,
difference? Like, what is Re for
Re
Tokyo
is a
Ghoul?
sequel series to it's basically a continuation of
Yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul.
It's essentially it's essentially the third season.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
3 years later. This is what's
yeah.
but
and
like we
Like, it
mentioned
was-
before, the problem is with the anime adaptation is they completely left out the second half of the story. So they decided to go their own direction with the story, which was they decided to
Stupid.
kind of pick and choose with what they wanted to adapt from the second half of this Tokyo Ghoul manga with season 2, but they also left a lot of things out. And they decided to the main difference is Kaneki deciding to join the Aogiri tree, which I
Yeah,
Yeah, that was not
That
what
was not a
happened in the
thing.
manga.
yeah, it's
Man.
not how it happened.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not much of a manga reader. Like
I wasn't, and I got more into it recently.
It
but-
depends on like when I watch anime now, like the newer ones at least. I like
Mhm.
to see what's going on ahead, so I kind of watch the manga now.
Yeah, sometimes you get tired of waiting for the next season, so you're like,
Yeah.
I need to know.
that's how I
That's-
felt with Berserk. I couldn't wait
Oh.
anymore.
That's I got completely caught up with Berserk. Berserk is it really pisses me off with how they've handled the anime adaptations for Berserk as well. Like I know, of course, Adi Shankar,
Outside of
the guy behind Castlevania, said he wanted to make a Berserk anime, but I'm sure he might do something like that after he's
Wait,
done.
do we not have a Berserk anime? I could have swore that
We
was a
have-
thing.
We
Nice.
do.
that
We
didn't
do,
that they
but,
didn't finish. I forgot why. Like they
Oh.
abruptly stopped.
Mm-hmm.
The new one, yeah.
I don't remember
Well,
why in the original.
people didn't like the new one, so.
I'm in the middle with the new one. I don't hate it. I'll mostly.
I
because
used to
more
be kind
story,
of neutral about it, but looking at it more, to be honest, I really don't like it. I really would prefer if we got like somebody to come and actually do a proper adaptation of it, because I can't get behind that animation.
Yeah, I was gonna say I assume prefer the hand drawing style.
I really like. I really wish they would have gone ahead with what they wanted to do with the movies. The studio behind the movies, I think it's Studio 4C. I really wish they would have continued. But with the because they wanted to do like they wanted to go forward with the other arcs in the story. But I think because the movies didn't sell well in Japan, they didn't. They stopped like at the end of the Golden Age arc. So the movies I think are probably the best. Honestly, I think honestly the best way to experience is the '90s anime, but I think the movies did a very good job as well. I think if you wanted like a better, a more updated animation version of that, then the movies are a good way to go. I would avoid the new one honestly. I would just say go read the manga instead.
Oh, now I remember. I was gonna say, how would nobody mention Rurouni Kenshin? Is beyond me.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Rurouni Kenshin's
You want
great.
to talk about some deep shit? Watching that as a kid, man. Oh,
My
Yeah.
only issue with it is that unfortunately, they never got the chance to finish it. So, in order to see like a piece of the Genchu arc, you had to watch the Samurai X movie that takes place in the past.
yeah.
Yeah.
You did to watch the movies after the anime.
Yeah.
yeah. I remember. Oh gosh. I watched a lot of Rurouni Kenshin. I was completely infatuated with Sanosuke. I remember he was the guy with the big old sword. But I watched that show like about as much as I watched Yu Yu Hakusho. Like those were my two shows like around that time period.
I could not.
Tsunami was pumping out
Yeah. Oh
hit
yeah.
after hit anime, man.
yeah.
Holy shit.
And then
then
Toonami had like a late version as well, where they said, "Oh, we're gonna have like all the anime uncensored." So I'm like, "Damn it, I gotta stay up till like 1
Yeah,
a.m."
I remember.
Yeah.
They
I think
did
that was-
Dragon Ball Z uncut. I remember that was like a big
yeah.
advertisement they were doing on TV.
The cell thing.
So, I never got into Dragon Ball Z. I felt
Oh,
like
you're not alone.
Okay.
It's long as fuck, believe me.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of my friends, they watch Dragon Ball Z, they really enjoy it, and I can see why it could be enjoyable. But personally, like the only parts that I really enjoyed of Dragon Ball Z were their filler. Honestly, like watching Piccolo and Goku try to learn how to drive, that was like comedic gold. Okay, that was great. So
I liked OG Dragon Ball more than I liked Z, to be honest with you. Like going back and watching it.
Isn't Dom like that, James? I swear.
The only thing he doesn't, no, he likes Z and Super actually. He likes things from all of them.
Mm.
The only thing he says he doesn't like that Z started doing was they kind of dropped the martial arts stuff and they just
Power up.
focused on they kind of flipped it to the alien and all the power stuff. Which
Oh,
he says he
okay.
likes all of them for different reasons, but he says it is kind of lame that they stopped at the martial arts aspect. That
Like
was from the
watching-
original Dragon Ball.
Like watching OG Dragon Ball and like the fight like Piccolo versus Goku both times was phenomenal. And then to go like back to Z, I mean, I guess I do like Z for all the power ups and stuff like that and the different techniques they have. But
Was Piccolo in Dragon Ball? I thought that was when,
Yes,
like,
he was.
His father was.
His father
Oh,
was.
okay.
he
and-
was too.
King Piccolo.
Yeah, and then he comes back like at the end.
Piccolo Jr. is at the end, yeah. He's
Yeah.
the last fight.
Okay.
But-
So, what about Sorry, I'll let you go because my thing might change the subject.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the thing about Dragon Ball Z is that one of the things I don't like is that after a certain point, the other characters do not matter. It's like you have to be a Saiyan or you have to be Goku. After a while, they just stop caring about the humans.
Oh, that's what it's like for Super for me.
Yeah.
It's gotten too far. Like in the manga right
Super
now.
tried. Like that,
Yeah.
I would say towards the end with the Tournament of Power, they made other old characters relevant, like Android 17. I always liked him.
Master Roshi.
Master Roshi, I'm like,
How?
I like Master Roshi, but like, you really swapped Boo out for him.
Well, he'd be. Boo would be.
We
pretty
got
OP.
cucked on Boo. That got me pissed off.
Boo would be pretty OP. He couldn't die.
Yeah, that's probably why. I know that's probably why they did it, but it's like, god damn it.
Yeah, there's no risk when you throw Boo in a fight.
Yeah, no.
But what I was gonna say a second ago, I guess I might be kind of like speaking to the wrong crowd here. But we spent most of this podcast talking about a lot of shonen anime that were our favorites. But did you guys have any shoujo anime or like any like maybe slice of life, non-action oriented anime that you guys ever watched that you enjoyed?
Mysterious Girlfriend X.
I've heard of that.
Tenchi Muyo? I thought that was funny.
Oh
by
yeah,
the
I
time
saw,
watched it.
yeah, Tenchi Muyo was
Off the
good.
top of my head, School Rumble, I like that show.
Mhm.
I heard School Rumble was good.
I was a big fan. I was a bit like it didn't get a lot of popularity until recently. I really liked Arn High School Host Club. I don't know if you guys might have watched that.
I do. I have seen that.
Arn High School Host Club, I think, even though it might seem to have like a very vapid, just oh, cute boys kind of thing going on, like there was a lot. Like, I feel like it's one of those things, kind of like Bring It On, where a lot of people just kind of assume it's like, no, I'm serious, where on the surface it seems like it's very vapid and just like, hey, we're just going to appeal to women here with these, in Bring It On's case, fun, cheery dance moves, but in Host Club, with pretty guys, like it had a lot of like cool, deeper stuff going on, like class disparity, and just like what gender means to people. So I thought it was really cool.
I watched one. It was called "Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto?"
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
There's another one.
Really good.
It has action in it, but it has all this wacky weird shit. FLCL. Used to watch that like all the time.
Cooley Cooley.
Oh
Cooley.
my god, they're supposed to be bringing it back, or they might have already done it. I don't know.
I heard they had like
They
a
did,
second
yeah.
season. Yeah.
Yeah, they brought it back on Toonami.
I haven't seen it yet.
My friends were
heard mixed
real
things
into
about
it.
I just remember the main character had like a giant ass finger coming out of his forehead.
Oh,
Yeah. And she
yeah.
was ridiculous. And he had like a robot with him and a girl with a guitar that used to fight like aliens. It was really cool.
I also just want to like take a second. I don't want to like take over the take a second to
No, it's fine.
talk about like also just magical girl anime, like how cool those were. Is for me specifically growing up, like things like Sailor Moon and like Cardcaptor Sakura, just because like anime, yeah, the most popular anime were very, were shonen, those, that were really popularized, but with anime like Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura being so popular, like those were like as a little girl, those were so empowering because not a lot of stuff like that was like out around that time. Like not a lot of like little girl with powers things were out around that time for me to watch. So like just we talk a lot about how shonen anime really is really cool and how we really enjoy it, but I just wanted to give a really cool shout out to some magical girl shoujo anime that also was very important. And that's my little soapbox as the girl.
There was
I think the only magical girl show I've seen was Madoka Magica.
Of course, which is a great and depressing and
Yeah.
amazing anime.
Well, I liked it too because it's a deconstruction of the magical girl.
Exactly.
Whole magical girl thing.
Right. No, yeah, and it was so cool. Like, especially, yeah, just how they prey on little girls, especially like once they're going through puberty, predisposed to depression, which is what would change them into a witch.
Yeah.
Like, that's so fucked up and so cool.
Trying to think of another one. I really like Lupin the Third. He's a really cool character. You know, like a thief that steals
He's
shit.
fun.
Yeah, it's like that's another one that really doesn't have like a whole lot of action. Just it's mostly about the characters and what they do, and how they get out of like all these weird situations. I thought that was pretty fun.
Oh, okay. I just thought a really good slice of life one I saw. Welcome to the NHK is a really good one that I think it's pretty underrated.
Okay.
The thing with that is it's relatable to pretty much anybody, although it specifically kind of tackles the whole issue of the hikikomori problem in Japan, where there's a bunch of shut-ins who basically don't want to go outside ever.
Same. What a mood.
Yeah, like it's a relatable show because it's like a lot of people have felt like that, where it's like I don't want to leave my house and I feel like the world's against me, etc. And that's kind of how the main character is. Like he just kind of lazes around all day, and then there's this girl who kind of wants to help him out, and then we kind of go on this adventure with him where he ends up lying to her about him because he wants to impress her, and he's like, oh, I'm making a video game, and it ends up that his friend who lives near him is also like, he's not a hikikomori, but he's like he's a huge nerd, and he's basically a weeb. He makes he's trying to make a hentai game, and that's basically what his friend is helping him make.
Awesome.
So yeah, like it goes through all these other then there's this girl he reconnects with who he went to high school with, and she's in this crazy cult and all that. Basically, all this random stuff happens to him. It's a pretty funny show. But it's also a very depressing show. Like it can be very funny, but it can also be like really serious at times, and because it kind of tackles the whole like loneliness thing, and yeah, it gets really fucking real at times. I'm like, God damn, I relate so much to this, and it makes me want to kill myself.
Oh no!
I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, I know. Right?
All right,
oh boy.
There's something that I didn't bring up actually that I am very surprised no one mentioned. So we didn't even talk about any mecha anime at all.
I was going to bring it up.
Gundam is the easiest one.
Yeah, exactly. The only one I liked before watching Gundam was Code Geass, and mainly because I like the characters, and it reminded me so much of Death Note.
Lelouch is basically like Yagami.
Yeah, he
is a younger kid.
But I started like not too long ago. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the original Gundam and watch it because I wanted to give it a try. And I didn't think I would like it, but I really ended up liking it. And it's not just because of the mechas, even though the mechs are cool. I really like the theme of how it really like you think it's because at first I thought it was going to be more of a show for kids, and that's kind of what you think before you watch it, but it's really fucking not. Like it gets really dark. It's a really serious war drama, and it like tackles like what war does to people. Like Amuro gets really like his mental state deteriorates kind of throughout the series, and you see how it affects him and the people around him. Like it's not as like kid friendly as you might
Right.
I think that's like a misconception people have. They're like, oh, it's just like Transformers. It's like, no, it's not at all actually. Like it's especially the series that comes after it, Zeta Gundam. Zeta Gundam is even darker than the original series, and it tackles stuff like human experimentation and some of the really heinous shit that like people can do in order to try to dominate the other side in a war. But that's what really drew me to the series. But despite how old they are and the animation being very obviously not very up to date, it's still a very good series with interesting story.
Iron Blood Orphan is a really good one. It's one of the most recent, I think, the Gundam animes.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
I like the first season of it. I didn't really care as much for the second season, to be honest.
Yeah, that's understandable. That and Wing. I think Wing is the one that got me.
Gundam Wing was.
Yeah, that's the like most mainstream, the one that people know the most from Toonami.
Yeah.
I think one other one that but everyone also is Zoids.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
I
Zoids.
watched
Damn.
Zoids.
like
Me and my cousin
nobody,
love
nobody
that
talks
show.
about Zoids anymore.
no,
I
they were
feel
supposed to
old,
bring
that's
it
why.
back. They were supposed to they had something about they were gonna bring it back on Cartoon Network again, and then they never, nothing
Oh,
ever
boy.
happened.
Oh man, yeah, they had like it was. I guess it was like several different series. Like like there was one iteration of Zoids that was on Toonami, but then they had another one that was on right after Adult Swim at like 6 o'clock in the morning or like 5 or something like that. I don't remember much of it, but that was the one that I watched, and it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even bring up any of the card game animes like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Nah, hold on. You know we
Don't
didn't bring
even-
up before
don't
we do that.
even.
I gotta hit chaos with this. Chaos.
Mhm.
You haven't mentioned your favorite, Evangelion.
Oh,
No.
don't even talk about it.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
Congratulations!
dude.
I'll give. I
I was
understand
like,
why
it's a
people like
crime, it's not
Evangelion, but I feel like it's an incredibly
One Punch
overrated
Man,
show.
everyone.
One Punch is good.
I was just
Season,
thinking to the theme.
I have a gripe with season 2.
Oh, season 2 was bad. Like,
I haven't watched it, but I who the hell doesn't know what Evangelion is, even if you haven't watched it.
It's-
everybody knows Evangelion.
It started out really promising, in my opinion, but the endings really got so fucking weird,
A
dude.
lot of
You
it has
gotta,
to do
like-
with Hideki Anno himself and him.
You gotta like
I-
watch each one and like try to figure out what's going on. It's really
Honestly, I think Evangelion, while it's still so popular, I think the reason why, because I think there's like a rising movement of people that think it's kind of overrated. I think that might be is like just this anime might be out of its time. Like, I think it was really important for the time it was produced, distributed.
Well,
Now, those statements aren't as strong.
I went from the show to end of Evangelion, and when Shinji was fapping over the unconscious body, I was like, what the fuck is
We've
this?
taken the darkest turns.
Oh my god.
You didn't think that was gonna happen. Well, here you
Oh,
That's how I
sorry.
feel
Like that.
right now.
Yeah,
that was so well timed.
Sorry, it's my roommate yelling about something. I don't know what it is.
That was
Tell us
fantastic
thanks.
go.
timing.
That was good.
I was like, what
Oh,
am I
I'll send it
watching,
right
man? Jesus.
He just finished Shinji for
Sorry.
it.
I was like, what am I supposed to get out of this? Other than that, Shinji is a fucking creep.
Oh,
He's a creep. He's a
I've tried to
pussy.
look up like what.
Well, we
what-
already know he's a bitch. He's a bitch the whole show.
I've tried to look up the explanation for End of Evangelion, and you can never get like one concrete answer. Everybody has a
Yeah.
different interpretation of what it means, and I mean, maybe that I feel like it's a good and a bad thing because it's like, well, what I don't know.
Wasn't
I
Steins
did-
Gate the same way?
Hmm?
Wasn't Steins Gate the same way as far as like?
I remember.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I guess. Well, I mean, you mean like in how it's open to interpretation? Or...
Yeah.
Y'all forgot
Uh,
hell was it?
Stein,
Housing
I
and
guess you could say it
blah, blah,
kind
blah.
of is because, like, obviously they're messing with time travel, and time travel
Mhm.
is kind of, it's a hard subject
Touchy
to really
subject,
get right. Yeah.
One thing that I remember reading recently-ish is that like Japanese audience, like the reason why we might get more like or just endings that are more unsatisfying for us as a Western audience. Like I think I read somewhere that it was like a cultural thing in Japan that they don't need
Yeah.
like their endings to have everything neatly wrapped tightly with a bow. Like the Japanese audience might just like endings that are up to interpretation. So that just might be
I've heard that somewhere too. Well, I've heard somewhere that they have a very different approach to how they tackle like the hero's journey type story, which is what a lot of our narratives and stories have been based upon. They have
Right.
a very different idea when it comes to that kind of thing. Uh, oh yeah, but yeah, Ren pointed out. I can't believe I forgot about this because this was a really good show. Devilman Crybaby. That was a
It
really good
it
fucking show.
messed me up, man. Like I'm not gonna lie to you,
Yeah,
because it just like I didn't expect it for the animation style. I wasn't like it just threw me
yeah.
in. It was really
It's
good.
a really weird animation style, but like it's yeah, the show is really good.
Like the
It's
club scene, like just I was like,
oh
what?
yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, and then I think the part that fucked me up the most was that dude's child that turned into a demon. I was
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ! It gets worse after that. I was
Yeah,
like,
it gets really crazy at
Yeah,
the end.
the ending was like he did. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Devilman was kind of like I remember the hearing the original creator. It was like a commentary on the Vietnam War or something like that.
Mm.
So yeah.
Okay.
yeah, thanks for giving me PTSD. Any other animes that we didn't mention, like Beyblade, Kappa?
Black
Oh,
Lagoon.
about Beyblade.
Well, we were touching on Yu-Gi-Oh before.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Duel Masters?
I
Duel
You and Dom would
think
get along
so.
well.
I watched a lot of Monster Rancher as a kid.
Did
That
you watch
was
Digimon?
yes, I did watch Digimon. Like those were the ones that were like back before Freeform was like ABC, even before ABC Family. It was when it was Fox Family.
Yes.
Yeah, they in the morning they played Monster Rancher and they played Digimon, and I watched those a lot as a kid, like before school.
I had that philosophy. I'm like, you know what? I just want to watch anything else but Pokemon because I got so tired of it at one point. I'm
They
like, you
did-
know
Oh,
what? Give me
it's
anything.
still, it's still going, fam.
When
It's
they
still-
did
Yeah.
they did Red's adaptation for Pokemon, it was actually pretty well done.
But I was like, you know what? I'm watching Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm watching Digimon. I'm watching Monster Rancher. I can't stand Pokemon anymore at this rate.
I'm gonna turn a lot of people against me by saying this, but I think I'm like the only person who just doesn't really care about Pokemon anymore. I used
don't
to,
either. Yeah.
but
I like Pokemon for just the way, like, because it's a popular social game, and I know
I can
like a
see
lot
that.
of like I guess I am drawn to popular social games not because but just because like those are games that I don't have to convince people to get in order to play them with me. So so it's just like with Pokemon, like even though Pokemon is fine, like it's if anything it's a fun RPG.
Yeah.
You know, those are games that have gained so much popularity that you know I don't have like my friends typically just have them, so those are fun things that I can play with my friends without having to put a whole bunch of energy into being like, well, okay, there's this one game I really like, and I think we would all really enjoy it. You know, like it's just so much work. Nobody listens to me.
I went back and actually watched JoJo, the '90s version of JoJo. 'Cause I didn't know that was a thing. And
God damn it!
yeah.
I was hoping.
You know what? Hold on. You know what? It's okay. We can talk about Fist of the North Star, man.
I was hoping the whole podcast no one would mention
Listen,
JoJo.
Fist of the North Star is the goat of JoJo.
It
Better
is.
JoJo.
Let me tell you
I love it.
something.
I know JoJo is so popular. It's so popular. But I am an art style snob and I fucking hate 80s just anime style. So I have never been able to get into it. I just
love
look
it.
at it and I'm like, I hate it.
I'm just too nostalgic for it, really.
Oh, you don't like the '80s art style or the '80s anime art style?
No, I am not a fan. But like literally my favorite anime style is literally a 90s, mid 90s to late 90s anime is my favorite art style. Just
How-
that yeah, your oh god, Evangelion or Evangelion, whatever it's called. But yeah, those are like my favorite art styles.
Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop is right there for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking what's his name? I forgot who voices Spike. I was all tip my tongue again.
Steve Bloom.
Steve Blum.
Yeah, he kills it, man. I love that dude so
he
much.
does so many voices. Wolverine. He does a good amount of voices.
Wasn't he like the Nolan North of anime?
Off that I like.
Yeah. Chris Sabat's another one that does a lot of different anime voices in like recent anime now.
Yeah.
Outside of Vegeta, I'm like, it took me for a long time to realize he was Kuwabara, and I was like, oh my god, I love this man.
He's what's his face? All Might and
Yeah,
He is. That one I could tell.
Yo, are you ready for that My Hero Academia movie coming out?
Oh, the second one? Oh my god, the
Yeah.
first one was so good. The
I
first
still
one.
need to see the first one actually.
It's worth the ending and the whole entire like lead up was actually really good.
Hey, Marvel, DC, take notes.
Is it funny that more people are like? I think My Hero Academia is actually more popular in the West right now than
It
like
is.
most of the Marvel.
Yeah, its manga's more
It
popular
is.
than any of our comics.
Yeah, My
Well,
Hero.
because-
Oh man.
I think it's because it's the same but different to what we as a culture were responding to. Like, yeah, we were real into Marvel for a minute, but then
Stupid
guess
people
the-
became in charge. That's the
or
easy
it's
That's
not
the
even
problem.
stupid people. I think this happens with anything that gets really popular.
Yeah, you
Like-
say that you
It's
have
a
anime.
little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. Like it's the whole Marvel brand kind of being mismanaged, and also just that anime and manga have pretty much taken off in popularity.
Yeah,
So
but you
it's-
have people in charge of animes, and then you have Funimation being a studio. So I think
Yeah.
any corporation that takes over is going to have people that probably won't like it.
Well, I think it's just that like where I was trying to go with it earlier is that things like Marvel, like a lot of people were really enjoying it, but now we're seeing that popularity wane because it's being commodified. I guess it was being commodified before, but it's being over commodified now. It's being over
like oversaturation.
yes, it's being oversaturated to just keep hitting that money making pinata, and so now people are starting to migrate toward something that is similar to Marvel, like where we still get those heroes, we still get the power, the epic stories,
But it's a little
but
bit
it's
more
different.
niche. Yeah.
But it hasn't been over commodified the way
Yeah.
that Marvel has.
Also
That's
sticks
definitely
to
part
what
of it.
people are actually here for. Marvel and DC Comics. Look at both of you.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't need to explain. People know what I'm talking about with that.
What do you think I brought it up in the first place, Shane?
I mean, you can look at movies like Joker too. Like it's so different from the typical superhero popcorn munching superhero movie, and I think that's why a lot of people really enjoyed it.
Even then, at least that's stuck to generally what people were looking for. Even if it's a little
Yeah.
different, it's like
It's
going
still
into
like,
certain territory.
even though it's a different interpretation of the character, it's still like very faithful to the character of Joker, without specifically being like, well, Batman needs to be in this movie. He didn't need to be in the movie.
Even that interpretation, people got wrong. I think they went in expecting it to be a Batman movie by association, and that's gonna happen because that usually happens with the general audience anyway, not expecting what's gonna happen and expecting something else. So
Suicide Squad?
don't mention Suicide Squad.
You just did it yourself, right?
You're
always some kind of Suicide Squad?
no, but I think you're always gonna have your general sort of comic book movie, and then you'll have the ones that are dark that try to do something different, and you'll have those people that don't understand at first, but they'll probably love the movie over time.
My one thing that I'll say about Joker, I am pleased that it ended up being a good movie, but at the same time, me as just like a comic book person, I personally think Joker shouldn't have a backstory.
There's so many different interpretations though.
Yeah,
There
it's
is, yeah,
even
that's why he doesn't need a backstory.
even in Dark Knight, like his
Yeah.
backstory was not like consistent from what I noticed, at least, because he always made up
Exactly,
something.
yeah.
So I kind of like that as multiple choice, to be honest.
They touched on it in the comics too. Joker. They had a Batman series where there was like multiple different Jokers, and they were like, which one is actually him? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
why I feel like comics are such a mess. Like it's there's so many Elseworlds versions of a character, and there's so many like different writers behind a character. It's like it never really feels like there's one like canonical.
When you throw in a multiverse into anything,
Yeah.
I think it starts.
Yeah.
to-
Yeah, they do multiverses to keep the lore going. That's the only reason why.
hmm
Yeah.
Well, I think with the Joker specifically, the fact that he's so specific, the greatest detectives, Moriarty or whatever, just not knowing what happened to make him happen, makes him such a more sinister villain.
Mm.
You know, where it's just like everybody's curious, like what made him go so crazy, and you just never know. That's why I like that he like doesn't really have a backstory. It's like you'll never know what happened to him to make him like this, and that makes it more sinister and kind of scary about him. Or like you
Yeah.
know
Like mystery really can add a lot to a character like that. Like I mean, I feel like people could make that same argument for like Darth Vader or something. Like why do we need to know that he was Anakin before this? Who cares? You know, like it makes him much more intimidating. But then you can also say, well, it added so much to his to who he
Right.
is a character for that same reason.
I think it was the whole dynamic Luke took over, and they were like, "Oh, well, by the way, hey, it's your father."
Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
No.
Okay, so now we should probably redivert back to anime.
Yeah,
Yes,
I-
please.
That'll be better.
Before I
I
rant
went off
about
on
Harley
that
Quinn,
tangent.
We can cut that whole part out.
No, just keep it in.
It is an after hours run. We don't have to really, always.
We don't
stay
have
on
to stick to
topic.
the script. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not on the other podcasts where there's clearly like a document. Then yeah, I would say don't diverge too much. But it's after hours, so it's like you can diverge how much you want.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about Harley Quinn. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, don't.
I saw some clips of the Harley Quinn show, and I'll be honest, I kind of laughed. At some of them.
Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is gonna be a.
Birds of Prey is
whole
gonna be
another-
trash.
Yeah.
I think Birds of Prey is going to be a. I think Birds of Prey is going to be a sleep. I
It's gonna be
think.
a what?
It's gonna be asleep.
A sleeper hit.
I
A
think.
sleeper hit.
Yeah, I think. I know a lot of
Resident
people aren't.
sleeper.
I know not a lot of people are expecting a whole lot out of Birds of Prey, but I think not necessarily that people have learned from their mistakes, but I think the departures that they've made thematically from Suicide Squad are going to be good. Like, especially just like, I think Harley Quinn is a really robust, cool character without the Joker. Like,
Yeah, she can be.
Oh, she is.
I think the issue is that it's the the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. I think is what a lot of people are.
I
gonna be
don't
turned off by.
think Suicide Squad Harley Quinn was bad. I think Suicide Squad was bad.
I think the thing
But-
there is when they do this dynamic of taking her away from the Joker and you feel like she loses something in the process, I think that's when they don't write Harley to be well, because it's like what makes her awesome and independent on her own, as opposed to having this abusive relationship with the Joker and not noticing that she's being kind of fucked over. And it's cool when she notices that she is. That's why I kind of like her writing in Injustice 1, where she's like, in the other verse, she's like, "Well, fuck
yeah.
Joker. I had enough of him. I'm gonna kill him now," because she knows that he's been using her the whole time.
In Justice 2, they really like touched on it too with the Harley Quinn like going into her own. She's like,
They
I
did
don't-
that. I like how they do that instead of.
Yeah, but when they do it like on the Harley Quinn show, where you get riveting jokes like this guy shitting out an orange seed in the jail cell. I'm like, what are they doing? I don't like this at all, dude.
I think what DC messes up a lot is that they don't. I think what Marvel does really well is includes their shows into a lot of things they do.
Yeah.
Like because DC has a really good thing going with like the whole like Arrowverse they have going on with their TV shows right now,
Mhm.
and they should include that. Like The Flash, The Arrow, Black Lightning, all those shows they have going on right now are really good.
I heard the
I
CW has
think-
been loafing a bit because of shit like
Yeah.
Batwoman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Batwoman.
Oh,
They
also-
threw in there.
I think-
Also, go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say I think DC copy Marvel's success.
I think it's the
mean-
other way around with their characters, right? Because most
Yeah.
Marvel characters are architectures of DC characters. It's
Well,
just
I
that
guess-
Marvel got more popular in the process because of the movies.
Yeah.
Well, what I mean, I guess now, like as far as the movie verse goes, like you see what just hard to catch up to Avengers.
Oh
That
yeah,
they just rushed everything, and they're
Oh,
like,
most definitely.
"Here's our Avengers that you like. We haven't had any build up for, and
I-
it turned out to be a bad movie."
I mean,
I said this-
Batman we've had build up for years because
Well, I mean, Batman did, but we need to build up the rest of the freaking team, right?
that
Oh,
is
yeah.
true. Yeah, like I always said this. Like DC was better doing their own thing as opposed to trying to copy the MCU.
You know,
it's all the success and they just try to hop on it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really work.
We
when
have
you
Justice
look at
League with
Aquaman.
Superman with a messed up chin now, and everyone wants a Snyder cut just because.
Yeah.
here's my thing with the whole Snyder cut. Like, I just is it really going to fix the movie? Like, I mean, how
No.
much do we really know about? Is it a substantially different movie from what we got in the final product? Because from what I understand too, Zack Snyder left like halfway through writing the script or something. So it's not even a finished script. So what we would get is an unfinished product. So
I
I'm not really
mean-
sure why people are like
I think
really
they're like
going
at
out.
this. I think like at this point, they just want anything else
Yeah.
except for
I mean, I just think people need to accept it wasn't a good movie.
yeah.
I will say that like the importance of how people edit a movie is like not a lot of people realize how important editing is. Like in Justice League, I believe it's Justice League, or it was either Batman v Superman, is one of the beginning scenes where Batman is like hangs someone
Oh,
off the
jeez.
roof or something like that. I can't remember what the
Batman
exact
v Superman, right?
I'm sorry.
Batman v Superman, I think.
Yeah, it might one of those. But like that scene when it was filmed was a comedic scene, but it was edited by whoever took over to be a more serious scene. So like
Yeah.
if Zack Snyder is in charge of editing for his cut, it could be a completely different movie. Like it just depends on how those scenes are edited and cut together, because that completely can change a tone.
That's true.
I'm just gonna say this for the record. The original cut of the Snyder cut is supposed to be 4 hours long. Fam, if that movie is terrible, I'm not sitting through that. I can't.
No.
I mean, okay, if it's 4 hours and they like, you know, they take that time to build up the character, whatever like was the flaws of the original movie, and they actually like address the issues in that time, then sure. But if it's like 4 hours of fluff or whatever that 4 hours is, it's like, well, what the hell is the point of
Yeah.
it being 4
If
hours?
I get another like, hey, your mom's Martha, my mom's Martha. What's that? I don't need that. Martha.
You're killing Martha.
Why you mentioning her name?
Why'd you
Damn,
say
we got-
that name?
You have a Martha too.
Oh, I forgot we're supposed to be talking about anime.
Also,
Hey
We really got
man, moving
sidetracked
off
with the-
topic. It's after
Yeah.
hours.
hold on. Maybe one last off topic.
You
fuck
could
Capcom.
you'd turn that into the One Punch Man topic.
Yes, please, please.
Yeah.
I will say, it's been about an hour, so I kind of have to go.
That was cool. Just plug your like socials, and we'll finish talking about One Punch Man, and we'll sign off.
Give us the
Alright.
shameless plug.
Yes.
Sounds good. Shameless plug. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as Haylocity, HAYLOCITY. Once again, I am Halo. It was great talking with all of you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.
You as well.
We will.
Likewise.
See you later. Thanks for
Take
coming
care.
by.
Bye.
Bye. All right. What about this One Punch Man here? Because I have not watched a single episode.
Season 2 was not. It was not what I wanted.
Uh,
So avoid season 2.
season 1 has like some pretty amazing animation quality, but season 2 they really dropped the ball. They changed animation studios, and then I think they also have different people working on the animation, so it just doesn't look nearly as good as the
Oh,
first
but guess who
season.
was? Guess who they were doing the season 2 animations for
Hmm?
fucking I hear Toei is doing the animation for
Oh,
season 2. That's an outsource.
that makes a lot of sense.
I didn't
Mm.
like season 2 as much as the first, but I still liked parts of it. I don't know.
Yeah, like the
One of those
story is
weird
still
things.
fine, I think, but like the animation quality took a huge dip.
Read the manga.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, basically One Punch Man, I guess for anybody that doesn't know, is just basically a parody of like, the whole superhero genre. The whole joke, of course, is that Saitama can just finish a fight with one punch, and all he needs is just to punch somebody he wants to beat them. But the whole joke is that he's, while he wants to be a hero, he's also, he's bored because he can't. He's so OP. Like he beats people so easily that he wants a real fight
Yes,
and he can't find one.
that's what I like about the series.
Yeah.
Is there
then-
anyone, like, without any specific spoilers or character names or whatever, is there anyone that actually does challenge him a little bit?
The guy, kind of the guy at the end of the first season a little bit, and I guess you could maybe say I haven't gotten to the point in the manga, or I don't know if they do fight, but I think if they did fight, maybe Garo, maybe.
I don't know if Garo's gotten. Has he him yet? At all?
I know he's in season 2.
He is. I don't think they fought.
I guess they don't fight, but yeah, like if they did, I think
He hasn't gone close. Let's just say that.
No, Garu tried something and at some point, but it's not like it's more of like a little like scene and then it just like ends.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to watch that after this because I've always been curious to watch it, but I'm like I never got around to it.
It's a good show.
Yeah, now that I recently got into Demon Slayer, I'm like, I'm gonna expand my horizons and watch some new shit. So, I think we're good enough to close out this podcast. So this is our discussion on classic and modern anime and what we thought about it. Well, we kind of got sidetracked, but after hours that happens. So we're gonna do these outros here. So where can we find you, Cal?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the good stuff, and YouTube.
What about you, Kaneki?
You could find me killing myself at Google Order on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Because fuck you, Capcom, I am not giving you my $25 for female tranny Seth.
Oh, I did see that.
I saw. I was like, well, it's Seth.
Shout out to
Biden?
Reapers who called it.
That what? Seth would be a girl?
No, that Seth would be revealed. Period. Like,
To be
the
fair, I
final
also had that
character.
assumption too. I was like, I bet it will be.
I didn't
like
think they
final
would
boss.
change
Or
the
like-
character so drastically. I'm
He
like,
can-
what is this?
He can be Street Fighter 4 Seth, or he could be this new female thing, and I don't get it. Like he could switch. I don't know how that works. Fucking
Oh
weird.
man, if it was a whole new character that looked like Seth, but different, personality, different moveset, whatever, fine. But no, I don't like Seth.
Yeah, they did that in Tekken with Master Raven, so it's just kind of weird to be honest. But let's continue on to the outros here. So Captain Chaos, where can we find you?
You can find me on both Twitter and on BitChute at Captain Chaos.
Anything else to plug?
Oh, yeah, you can find me. Well, you can. I also do have a Patreon. I guess I should mention that more. I keep forgetting. It is Enigmatic Arts. I do paintings for people. I do commissions if people are interested in that. I do not have any. Unfortunately, I don't have any patrons at the moment. So I mean, if you're interested, it starts at $5, so it's not insanely expensive. But yeah.
All right, and you can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. You can find me on Twitch, Renegade Operative. All my socials are on my Twitter anyway at Ren_operative. Yes, it is. Shut up.
No, it's not.
I will be uploading this shortly, as well as waiting until Jump Festa, which is this sort of convention on the 22nd of next Sunday. They will be talking about more Resident Evil 3 gameplay, and supposedly Capcom's going to reveal a new game. We don't know what it is, but If it's really good, I'm probably gonna be doing some breakdowns with Dom on it. So look forward to
Rival
that.
School 3, please.
I hope it's like a really good fight. I think Capcom does need to make like a good fighting game eventually because
Man,
SNK
they're
are
fighting in
First
division
PC.
still low.
yeah
Yo.
SNK are like molly whopping them right now.
Yo.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
King
gonna.
of Fighters 15. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick. We're gonna sign out, people. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and once again, take care. Watch Yu Yu Hakusho, damn it.